All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. We are back. I think this is episode 128, Jen.
Wow. That's exciting.
Today is, I'm rocking my green. So today is Valentine's Day when we're recording.
Why are you wearing green on Valentine's Day?
So our staff for Christmas decided to get us Celtics tickets, which is amazing.
So exciting.
And we are going to watch the Celtics absolutely dismantle Brooklyn tonight. They played them last night and they crushed them. So Brooklyn came back a little bit there, but then we all kind of knew and Tatum went off. If you're not a basketball fan, I'm sorry. We are.
We have cute outfits that match too, because, we got to be geeky.
It's okay to be cheesy. I like cheesy sometimes. So we're in February. And we're kind of taking a look. The holiday season's come and gone. The new year, you're wicked blurry.
Sorry.
There you go. The New Year's sort of people are settling in, and we are planning out the rest of our year.
Yes.
So we thought we would
2024.
Yeah, the rest of 2024. We sort of had the first quarter or so planned out, which was we'll touch on, but to do one-on-ones with our staff, to do whatever leftover holiday stuff, to look at the numbers, to set some business goals, which I did. I don't know, Jen, if you set some goals. I set some goals in the stuff I do, which is number stuff. So I did some projections and I looked at our past growth for the last 4 years that we've been open. And I was like, okay, we can grow, I think, this percentage for the next year, which is well into 20%. So I would say the business is looking like it's going in the right direction, right? Sometimes
healthy?
Healthy for sure. It's actually, it's technically it's healthy now, but I was having this conversation the other day with somebody. Is it ever where you want it to be?
No.
And it shouldn't be, right? Because you would just be complacent. You would eventually lose because you have to keep making progress, or else by definition you're regressing.
Right.
So where do we want to start with what we're working on?
It doesn't really matter. I think.
No, I don't think so either.
To preface, Todd and I, as if you listen to the podcast, talk often about our core values, missions, and things like that. So when we lay out for 2024, we also have to self-check the business, the things that we stand for, and do they still align with who we are today? So they do, which is awesome. Like in that point, we're still moving in the direction we want to. And then what of those are our focus for this year? So you're
talking about assessing, right? Like what we've been doing. Yeah. Does that still fit? Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And assessing our mission and our core values, and do those still define who Hello is? Or are we moving or pivoting or innovating in a way that some of those need to be updated, right? Because you need to check that. So feeling good about still the foundation of Hello, but then how do we keep that moving in the right direction? And that's pretty much what we're talking about today. So talking about how we keep our culture going in the way that both Todd and I still want to be in our business. And that might sound odd, but you do need to make sure, like, do I still want to go to work in the business we created? That's a way for me to put a touch point on how are things going in there? How am I feeling? And then why, right? And what does that look like? So protecting the culture.
That's a great thing to share with people.
Yeah, I think it's
just like, are you happy? Like, so
yeah.
If you're a business owner, you're not happy. Why?
You're the leader.
You can change it. Don't just be miserable. Like, do the thing. Do the thing.
It's a great question to ask yourself, right? So that you're just kind of like, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking the vision that we're going in, but how do I keep it moving in that direction and help steer that ship so it stays moving forward, right? So culture, we'll talk about education, because that's a huge one for us, community involvement. And then I think you talked about in the beginning, touching base with our staff. And so these are just things that we will lay out for the rest of the year and kind of, I guess, how we're going to attack that. I think I touched all of those. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we could start with like the fun stuff, because how do you protect your culture? To me personally, like I just said, I have to ask myself, do I like going on? So I had a salon that I worked at for a while, a long time ago. And I think Todd had got these for me. I had these I Quit socks. And I just wasn't happy with the way the salon was going. I worked there, I was a commission employee, and I would speak up every meeting I had. I went in with a list. Like I went in everything I could to explain what I wasn't liking and ask for changes. And, it's theirs to do with whatever. But so finally I got these I Quit socks, and it was like a running joke. I would wear them into work, and it made me just chuckle, kind of make light of my day, love just doing hair. And then I needed to figure out for myself, if that business wasn't evolving the way I wanted, how was I going to evolve myself, which led to me moving on to another salon. So anyway, with this salon, to me, if you're not having fun, then why the fuck are you doing it? So one of the things that Todd and I would like to lay out over the year is
We
some
need
self-care.
t-shirts with that, by the way.
We do, right? Some self-care that is really important to us and that we think is really important for our staff who's on the younger side to maybe understand the importance. So some of that we will lay out for them with some fun stuff, and then just having fun. So our goal for 2024 is to lay out 3 different team outings. Todd and I will lay it out over the whole year of when we want to do these outings, and then we'll present them to the staff. And what we do is, rather than ask staff, is everybody available on this day? Is everybody available on this day? There's, I think, 14 or 15 of us now. So no one's ever going to be available on every day. So what we'll do is figure out, where do we want to put these? Todd's going to be in charge of reaching out to the businesses, and then we will plan all 3 of these outings. And then we'll just put them out to the staff. And this way they know for the whole year, they can choose to make their calendars clear for all of these. They can choose to go to all of them, or they can pick the ones that fit for what they want to be at. But it's a choice, and it's there for as much as they want to come play and as much as maybe they don't want to. So some of the 3 things we have lined up, do you want me to say them, or are we keeping them a secret?
I was going to ask you that because you were like, we'll lay these out and then present them to the staff. And I was like, I thought we were going to talk about them.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, if our staff's listening, they get to, I guess, be first of what's happening this year. So one of the things that
these things aren't set in stone. Like you had mentioned,
right.
I'm reaching out.
Ideas,
I'm
right?
reaching out to some businesses to see what things look like and if it's even if they're interested.
So, right. And if it all aligns. And otherwise, we will pivot, innovate, and we'll put in another outing for this. But again, it's really about team building, team outings, and what we think the team needs this year under the roof of Hello. So one of them is going to be, and this one we're hoping to keep local so we can support local because that's important to us, a yoga class.
Not just at the holiday season?
Yeah, not just at the holiday season, not just Shop Small Business Saturday. The other one is a newer business that just opened kind of in our area that we would like to support because we'd like to see them stay open. And that would be taking the team out roller skating because we think that could just be fun. And the other one, which is kind of on that same line of self-care, is taking them to a salt cave, another way for them just to decompress. And the goal here is that we're going to show them ways that they can keep their mental health great, keep their bodies feeling good, and then also some stuff that, just like I said, roller skating is the coolest thing ever, and I love it. So why not go have some fun?
Yeah, I like all of that stuff because we've been there. And I think when you talk to, I know I was this way, so I assume people are this way still. When you talk to younger generations, when you talk to somebody that's 20 years younger than you, they think that you don't know. Like we haven't done that. Like we weren't there. Like we didn't do the same things. Like we didn't have... not everyone went through this, but like you didn't have times where you were trashing your body, like where you stayed up all night and then just went to work. I saw a post the other day. Someone was like, this is for all the stylists and old school that would go to work with the hand stamps from the club still on their hand. Right. And so if you've been around, if you're, somebody that's in their 40s, like we are, we've been there. And you can do that stuff and you can have fun and be a kid because in your 20s, you're still I feel like a kid still, but here we are.
Your body will bounce right back.
Yeah. But then there's going to be a point where you have to take care of your body, and you should start that now because it's a lot easier to keep things going than it is to start new things when you get older. So, we like to involve some activities and just expose them to things that will be fun as a group also. So
I think too, and we talk a lot about this, we're in a customer service industry. Let me say that one more time. We are in a customer service industry. So also kind of getting these outings and talking about self-care and self-awareness and then getting your body kind of like regrouped or reset. that's important because you're taking care of other people all day as your job, right? So also for us to do this for them shows them like you can serve your salon or your clients really well if you take care of yourself first. And so some of this was based on kind of getting them their mindsets reset so that then they can be better when they show up to work. These are the things that we think about when we're planning our outings for our team.
Yeah, and it exposes people to new things. Like maybe they've never been to the salt cave. We've been there before.
I love it.
Maybe they've never taken a yoga class, or I actually reached out about a couple different options for the yoga. So it might not be just yoga, but maybe they're not aware of that stuff. And also it gets you in other businesses so that you can see, and I'm not going to be annoying about it, but if something stands out, like we'll point that out. Like, hey, did you guys see how they did that? They probably don't have to. That's probably a touch right there they've added.
Yeah.
So they've added some value, like little things like that.
And it is networking also, right? So
yeah, for sure.
It encompasses so many things. And at the end of the day, it's just fun. And if you want a strong team and you want a strong culture and you want people to kind of like ebb and flow, these are things that are going to be necessary to create that. It doesn't just happen just because you want it to.
And like you mentioned a minute ago too, don't be stressed out about trying to get, if you have a big team, even if you have a smaller team, if somebody can't make it, don't cancel the whole thing. You're never going to find a perfect time. It's really rare. If you do that, you're going to run into issues. I feel like I've been part of businesses that do this where they're always telling you what's coming, but it never happens. And that's when people are like, this is just lip service. Because where do you draw the line? I know you were talking about roller skating, Jen, but I'm talking about, a price increase or whatever. And you're like, oh yeah, we'll talk later. And then it's months and months. And so I've had jobs where that's happened, where they're like, we're going to talk about giving you a raise. And I don't even know why they brought it up. They brought it up. So then like 3 months later, I ask and they're like, oh yeah, we just have to have a meeting about it. We're going to talk about everybody. And then another 3 months. So now it's been 6 months. I've been told I'm getting a raise, but it never comes to fruition. So I think you've got to be careful with that stuff and just consider it. Now, if you have something where you're like, I really want my entire team at this, maybe you make an exception, but I wouldn't make that your
exception to the rule.
Yeah, I wouldn't make that your rule because you're going to drive yourself crazy too.
And we do the same thing, and this can segue into the next thing that's a big part of our culture, which is education. We already have a few things one that we've already done, two that are lined up for the year. But again, those come based on the educators that we want to bring in when they're available, and then we put it out to the staff. Not always can all the staff come because of life stuff they have. And we understand that, but we can't not have this stuff lined up. So some stuff, comes short notice, some stuff comes a few months out, and it's up to the staff if they can clear their schedules to be there or not. But we have to put it out there, and it's just how we do things because we are so big.
Yeah, again, you can't go crazy with trying to worry about the detail of everybody's lives. Like I don't know what people have going on.
Putting yourself into next year if you kept doing that and nothing ever happens.
Right.
To touch upon, so education is one of our core values. It's really important. We focused kind of in January, we did a PK class for just a treatment that we already have, but to re-inspire the staff, how it works, how to use it, all of that stuff.
And ran a contest.
Ran a contest to get them excited. This month we're running, we're bringing in a new product that it's all about scalp care, and it's really going to just fill a hole in what we don't have right now. And again, we will run something fun for that too. But so let's talk a little bit about with education. We don't just run any education that comes our way. We get reached out to all the time from all different companies, educators, all of the people that are like, I want to come teach there. Some it's like free classes, free this, free that. And although that sounds wonderful, what Todd and I have to do is protect the education that we allow under Hellau's roof. And the reason why, let me tell you that, because I think whys are important, is when we run a class, whether it's just in-house for our staff or we open it out to people in our community, because we do that often, we want to ensure that the educator that's coming in, that the content that's being discussed is of the most, top notch that we believe in. And we do that because this way, when we run a course Our staff knows it's not shit and we're not going to waste their time. So they're excited to be there. And anybody in our community that's looking for a class, they know that Todd and I put it through a process and that we are like checking off that we feel this is great content being delivered with a great educator. And we, again, will not waste your time. So not everybody that reaches out is for hello, and not everybody that reaches out is somebody that we may be checking off for that year. Who knows where that is in the future? But for that year, we have a education platform that we want to utilize and what we want to share. And so we make sure when these people are coming to us, we want to teach in your salon and do this, that they fit the standards that we want.
Yeah, so we've made mistakes in the past, and I'll be the first to say that because nobody's perfect, right? Obviously, that should be something you don't have to say. But we've had educators come in that were absolute horror shows. We've had classes, we've had virtual classes that I was like, I will never do that again. I was pissed one day. It irritated me that I wasted my time. And then the staff that we had log on to those meetings, I was like, this just sucks. So, we have high standards. We don't just let anybody that reaches out just come in to teach because they have followers. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter.
No. And so what
we interview those people to make sure like they're of the best quality that can be putting out education.
Yeah. I've said it a million times, but I don't give a fuck about like that you're famous or that you think you're famous or whatever. Like it's irrelevant to me. I think it's up to us to, and you've mentioned this already, but to curate things because we've been around it longer. Like you've been around a lot longer than me, but I've been around you for your entire career. So it's not like I'm blind to this, where we have some people that have been doing hair for like 6 months, a year, 2 years, and they probably would get excited for anybody that you put in front of them and then be bummed out, where we're like,
and we need to
let's avoid that.
So that they, let's avoid so they're that. Excited about education. The other thing on the, docket, I said we, talk about products. A haircutting class will be coming in, which will be a demo with a hands-on. So that'll be really exciting. And one of the other things too that we do, whether it's with these classes, a contest or some sort of gifting to the staff that does show up, so that we want them to understand we appreciate their time. We appreciate them coming in with an open mind to take in whatever, we're bringing in for education. And I think you have to figure out sort of how you motivate your audience for that. So if your audience is your staff or your audience is your staff in the community, but there are so many different ways to get them excited for what you're doing and come in like ready to learn.
We briefly talked about organizing our donations and how we do our donations a little better.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the things that we had talked about creating a budget for. It's not something that we've been amazing at because as people, I think both of us are helpers and want to help. And so you just try to help. And it got to a point where it was like, we're sending a lot of money out. We have to keep this in check. So part of owning a business for me is to have a say, I guess, in your community. It's to create jobs. And I don't know if people think of this. I think a lot of people think like, oh, I do hair, I'll open a hair salon. Oh, I work out, I'll open a gym. Oh, I bake, I'll open a bakery. But what I think of a lot is what kind of opportunities can I create for people in our community? What sort of businesses can we work with? What sort of votes can we give? So when money comes into your business, you decide where that money goes next. Some of it hopefully makes it all the way to the bottom line and it gets to you. Some of it's going to go out to vendors and hopefully they're local. We've done our best to work with as local as I think we can get actually when it comes to a distributor. But keeping those dollars in your community just makes more sense. So what we've done is started to think about, we haven't got very far to be honest with this, but what we've done is start to think about a budget and prioritizing. That's our dog in the background. Is not in the background at all. But how do we prioritize our donations or the money that's coming out of our business? And like what percentage of our business do we want? Like what does that look like and realistically?
Right. And also just like with education, there are so many people that whether they stop in or they email and they're asking for something often. Like it's a lot because I don't know. People just think, oh, you're a hair salon, you should be able to just do this. So I think there's also a metric that we use to make sure we're donating in the right direction.
Yeah, the first thing, I'm going to cut you off because the first thing that I want to mention with donations is, do you even believe in the cause?
Correct.
So that has to be at the forefront, because if you're just giving to give and you start giving, and that could actually backfire. And now either you're stuck, it's awkward, or you're stuck, or you're committed to something that you don't even really want to do. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to really show up for it either way. And I know there's people that take advantage of programs and take advantage of things and like say that they're going to follow through, say that they're going to support organizations, and then don't once they get their piece. Right. Once they get their publicity or their marketing. Mm-hmm. They all of a sudden can't show up. Right. So, and we don't want to be those people. I think that's important to put out there because I see all these people jumping on sort of the Slacktivism and the, what's the word I'm looking for? Virtue signaling, where they just post like what anyone ever, whatever, blah, what everyone else is posting for causes. Now all of a sudden everyone wants to support this cause. And I'm like, there's no way that 100% of people even care about this issue. So figure that stuff out first. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. So I feel like when people come into our salon, a lot of times if it's clients of the salon, I definitely will give them a listen. Like
I'll take priority.
Todd will sit down because they already support our business, right?
Of course.
When the randoms come in, that's a different ball game. The other thing that we follow is, again, like you said, like, is it getting out into the community, or is there a market that maybe we're trying to tap into that we haven't been able to? And would it make sense for us to donate in that area? Because hopefully it could drive some business into our business. And then we also look at too, there are certain, relationships. So maybe there's one where we're in the market to donate a bunch of stuff and like, okay, we're going to pump you on our Instagram. You're going to pump us on your Instagram. And the goal is here to have a mutual kind of relationship that helps both businesses. And at any time, if some of those things don't work out, maybe that company falls short, we've pumped them, they're not going to give back to us, we'll reevaluate that for the following year. Is that still going to be a great donation for us? Or maybe we've donated to some local things and we haven't gotten anything back, and maybe it's just not the market for us. So again, it's just picking kind of what's going to work as a balance for our business and for the companies that we are putting our money or our donations into, that they align with what we want or where our core values are and our mission is.
And it's not always, so just to clarify here, it's not always about getting something in return. What I think Jen is referring to, and you can stop me if I'm incorrect here, is when you're working with another company, say, and you guys have a deal and you agree to do A and they agree to do B. And you do A and they never do B. So it's like, I'm helping you. I'm investing my time. I'm maybe sending stylists or whatever. And you said you would, whatever. Maybe it's even something silly like tag you in social media or what. I'm just trying to give an example.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that wants all the time, but never reciprocates, people aren't going to help you.
Right.
If you want to be helped, help others. So always help people first should be the aim. If you're not going to follow through, though, people are going to pick up on that, and it's going to be a lot more difficult. We love to help, even local businesses. We do a lot of pop-ups and things like that, events at our salon. We don't charge people to come in. I know that's a thing some places.
We just really want to help advocate for them and get their stuff in front of an audience.
Right, and we want to bring them in to get them in front of our audience, our staff included, because we think that particular person or company can add some sort of value to our team and our clients. So yeah, that's really it. And like you said, yeah, of course, like an existing client is always going to take priority because they are a client.
Right. We talked even if you're someone that throws your business card up in every coffee shop that has a cork board, there's a way to take that a step further, which would be you could go into that coffee shop and ask, talk to the owner, like, how can I help with what you're doing? How can we collab? Like that would take just a business card that's just sitting up there with 500 other ones and make yours stand out, or make you or your business stand out. So, even engaging with your local businesses and asking, like, how can we do something together to get whatever you're doing out there, whatever I'm doing out there? There are so many ways to work together with these local businesses to create some just fun, different ways to market.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was it on the donations. I was just checking my notes here.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to just get people thinking about it. You don't have to donate to everybody.
Yeah. And
finding ones that really like talk to you.
Yeah. And you can't. So just be careful. And like, I love giving. I gave somebody stuff the other day and I was like, what is it for? Because someone bought some gift cards, and so I'll just tell the story real quick. One of our staff members, her father is a pastor, and they bought like 5 gift cards to help like a women's shelter, help some people get haircuts. And I was like, throw a couple extra in there from me and Jen. Like, I don't even think about that stuff. I just throw it out there. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not going to stop giving to people. We just need to be mindful so that we know how much we can give to people.
Correct.
Otherwise,
it's a free-for-all.
You're not putting your mask on first. Yeah, if you can't eat and you can't go to work, then you can't give anything to anybody. The last thing I want to touch on in this episode is we are at a point in our business where things are progressing, which feels nice, but we need them to continue to progress, and we can't become complacent. So fortunately, we've made it to this point, and we're at the point where we need to really start delegating some stuff.
Yeah.
The first thing, and this is a really great thing for just to test, is a cleaner. We want to find somebody to come in to supplement the cleaning. Our salon is very clean, just in general, but we would like to have someone that's not us. Because when I'm in there, I clean. When you're in there, you clean. Yeah, the staff cleans. But in reality, if you're the owner of a business, you really shouldn't be doing a whole lot of cleaning, because you need to be doing other stuff to create those opportunities for your staff and to explore things that are going to help serve your clients better and stuff like that. So it's not about being lazy. It's not about like, finally having the money to hire people. It's not about that at all. It's about taking the next step in your business. Yeah,
in the business, and as an owner, taking that time, and it could be better used somewhere else for the business, not just in it cleaning.
Well, and maybe if you're a business owner that you're doing all the cleaning, you're doing all the organizing, you're doing all the product ordering, you're doing everything, right? And you pass off, say, the cleaning, and now you have, maybe that's, I'm just throwing a number out, but maybe you have 10 hours a week now freed up. Use that to spend with your kids. Right. Get your own mind right. We talked about, not mental health, but just overall well-being in the beginning of the episode, and why we choose to do the things we do. There it is. You could, maybe you need more sleep, so you add an hour of sleep each day. I don't know. Maybe you're getting up super early. I used to do that with my gym. I'd get up at like 4 a.m. and go to the gym so I could clean it before everyone came in. And it gets to be a lot on one person. The other, where are we? Staff meetings we switched up this year. So
I needed a change. Needed a new face, a new fresh look.
Oh, there it is. I was like, I swear my notes were better than this. So yeah, it was, in the past, we've gone through several iterations of staff meetings. So we used to do them in person, 2-on-1. So we would both meet with the staff member. We would do that at the salon. It doesn't work. Here's why it doesn't work. Because when you have a Jen in your salon, no matter what you're doing.
Oh, the minute I sit, everybody wants to sit with me or find me.
Everybody comes over, and I don't think people do it to be annoying or do it to be malicious or whatever, but everybody has a reason to like, can I pick your brain? Or can you help me formulate? And it's like, we're in the middle of a meeting. What would you do if we weren't here? Do that right now. The other thing is, with Jen being in the salon a lot more than me, when we would sit down for meetings, it was like, hey, do you remember my client Lisa from last week? Oh yeah, she came in on Tuesday. What do you think I could have toned her different? And it turns into a meeting that's about something that's not important right now at all. And it wastes time, and we're big on protecting people's time. So then we did phone calls with the staff. So we would be here, we would grab a phone, put it on speaker, talk to the staff. And we offered those monthly. It was way too frequent. And we were going through our like teenage years of our salon where people just complained, and not even about salon stuff. They would
It was just a therapy session.
be like, I'm having a bad day. My boyfriend doesn't like me, all sorts of shit where we're like, what? Like, this is not for this. How can I help your career? Like, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
So what I've done now is we've switched over to, I just do the meetings with the people.
Mm-hmm.
I get the information. I bring the information back to Jen when we meet or when we chat, when it's appropriate. And then we sort of brainstorm or put it on the back burner or think about, some people need attention immediately, where other people it's done by the time the meeting's over. One person needed something on the website updated. I did it during our meeting. I was like, keep talking. I'm going to pull this up and do it right now. Yeah. Some stuff is...
And some may need follow-ups, and that's fine too.
Some may need follow-ups, and some may be like a year. We set things for, this is what we're going to have to do this year to get you closer to where you want to be. It just depends on the person's goals. And then the last thing I think we wanted to talk about is we're considering adding a management layer to our business. And that does not come lightly as a decision. Right. I think a lot of people believe that they have a business and that there's like a magic bullet somewhere. Like, if I do this, that'll fix my business. Or if I do that, well, here's the deal. Adding a manager that doesn't buy into your mission and vision, doesn't believe in your core values, is going to hurt your business. Mm-hmm. Adding a manager to look like you're cool or that you need a manager is going to hurt your business. Adding a manager because a salon down the street has a manager isn't going to help you. We've played around with this before and it didn't work. I don't think we were ready for it, and I don't think we really needed it at all. But like we mentioned, we're getting to a point where I think it's time.
Yep.
And that will take some stuff off of both of our plates and help us focus on then helping that person run the business and then building whatever is next for opportunities and whatever, all that stuff.
To what you just said, though, too, I think adding a manager, because you are a poor leader in your business and you can't have those hard conversations, that is not going to help your situation either.
I wouldn't do that.
We are looking to do it as to, again, free up time. And just as we've grown so much, we see the potential for us to offer a better product to our staff if we have this layer. And because, we're just ready for it in a different way, and finding that person that believes in what we're doing and really protects it like how we would makes it open for a conversation. But if you are lacking certain things, if you don't have systems, if your business is crumbling, just adding another layer is not going to do anything to save it. You really have to then get a business mentor or do something to mentor your business so that you know how you want it run, you can see how you want it run, then you can develop someone to help run it with you and make it even better. And that's really the position that kind of coming into 2024, we can see a vision for as we grow Hello.
Also, if you aren't able to have difficult conversations with people, you're screwed, kid. So, but how are you going to have those difficult conversations with your manager in order for them to get better at leading your team or helping you lead your team? We're also not going to be hands off. We're not doing this so we can not be in the business. We're doing it so we can be in the business and have our eyes and ears a little more open. It adds eyes and ears when we're not in there. Not that I have any suspicion of any wrongdoing or anything, but it helps with everything day to day. It helps with like how you answer the phone. Like, I'm not in there. Have we had any complaints about it? No. Could it be cleaned up? I don't know, but we'll know shortly, when you just have the extra eyes and ears, like I said. And like you mentioned, I love, and we can wrap if you want, is you definitely don't want to make decisions to add things, especially you have to look at the financial commitment of that. I think a lot of salons, but have massive staffs that they don't need to have. You don't need to have 200 desk people. What are they doing? So anyways,
that ship has
I think that's it. That's what we're up
Now
to.
you know what's going on with our 2024. Stay
And,
tuned, I guess, as we add more. And we'll probably have another episode as we start building out, like we had talked about, Todd, some of the events we have coming up and sort of what our processes look like for that. And maybe that helps you add some different events into your salon this year or next year.
Sure. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.